What is your name?
Joseph.
And how are you related to pole fitness?
My girlfriend is a pole instructor.
So what were your first thoughts when you heard about women doing pole dancing for fitness before you knew your girlfriend? Or when was the first time that you heard about it?
I think maybe at like all the Las Vegas shows, like the Cirque du Soleil shows and stuff. Um, just like the gymnast shows, stuff like that.
You heard about women doing pole fitness?
Pole fitness, yeah.
And what were your first thoughts about it?
It's completely on the other side of the spectrum of exotic pole dancing.
Okay. So there's no relation in your mind to that? To something like Cirque du Soleil and then what they do in a club?
No, not at all. Because I think what they do at Cirque du Soleil is actual takes a lot of practice and like all the competitions that I've witnessed her enter is completely different from what, in my mind, I see at an exotic dance club.
What do you think of the pole dance community and the women and men in it, kind of as a whole, now that you've been dating someone that has been involved in it and had, I assume, pretty good exposure to that environment?
I actually am going to some of the competitions with her. I've interacted a lot with, like you said, a lot of the pole dancers, a lot of their husbands, even some male pole dancers, and the community itself is completely something I never even knew existed as well. They're incredibly fun people. They're very nice. Everyone gets along. They completely do it as a competition, like as a sport. It's a sport to them, and I think that's very admirable.
We already kind of touched on this, but as far as pole dancing as a sport or an art form, like you're saying, and things that you've seen at shows or competitions, and the connection to dancing in a strip club, do you think that that should remain separate, or do you think there's a gray area, or do you think that they should be looked at completely different, or there's any connection at all now?
It doesn't matter if I need to, people need to think of it as completely different. It is completely different. The talent, and not to, downplay the exotic dancers, but the talent that they show on a pole is completely not the same talent that people that do this for competition or for actual sport have. The people that do it for sport are doing moves and techniques that you just do not see at an exotic club, or these dancers doing that. They have years of discipline. They have a practice to this, or even if they don't have years of discipline, they do have some sort of discipline to practice this daily and to keep a healthy lifestyle. Because you have these athletes have to literally lift all their body weight, keep it in a suspension movement for seconds, minutes at a time, and that takes there's nothing to say. These are athletes, these are competitors, so it's not that I view it different, it's just completely different because I've never seen this sort of form at an exotic dance club at all. Never.
Do you think that pole dancing or pole fitness as a sport and like in the competition spectrum of things should be considered mainstream? Do you think that they should televise it or have it, open and available to everyone and anyone, mainstream, like they do football or gymnastics or, ballet or any sort of, dance competitions, cheerleading, things like that? Do you think it should be mainstream, or do you think that that won't ever happen?
I absolutely do think so. The sport itself it's amazing to look at. I feel like it should even be in the Olympics. Come have it. People compete from their countries. You always see these two videos on YouTube about Russian pole dancers, American pole dancers. And they're amazing. So I think it definitely should be televised. I think it should be brought into a view that's more positive, because somebody that might not have the same experience as I do could have a negative connotation towards somebody that says, oh, I'm a competition pole dancer, or I'm just a pole fitness dancer, you know. Somebody might not understand that. So if it's televised, if it's brought out to a better light, I think people will have a better understanding about what this sport is and the athletes that it requires to perform.
There's been a lot of media coverage about the children. I think overseas it was them entering contests like, you know, So You Can Dance or America's Got Talent, or, you know, whatever their country is, about, you know, children 15 and under doing this sport and being incredibly talented at it, but there's just a very big controversy as if they should be doing it or not, partially because of the stigma, or, you know, partially because of the dangers of it. What do you think about children being involved, or them having their own section, or being able to enter competitions or train for this, or, you know, do it?
I mean, it's, you know, a mom and dad they don't prevent their children from entering little league football or basketball or any other full contact sport. Some children start off in gymnastics. This is completely no different. You know, the negative connotations is, you know, what we were referring to earlier, exotic dancing. The athletes in pole dancing, in pole competitions, aren't nude. They're not wearing very skimpy outfits. They're wearing competition attire that I know for a fact has very strict guidelines, and disqualifications can happen if they don't meet these guidelines for them to be for them to be properly uniformed. I think children should definitely look into, you know, I think it's okay for them to go into this, you know, this sport if they so desire. It's not any different from young children being in gymnastics, or, like I said, full contact sports like football. It won't be any more dangerous than any sports that they already could be playing right now.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about dating someone that does pole dancing?
Until I saw my girlfriend in like competitions, I never knew she had so much grace. I mean, I guess I did, but when I see her in these, you know, when I see her perform in a crowd of 100 people, 1,000 people, you know, and for her to still have the nerve she has to hang upside down or do these incredible tricks that require amazing flexibility, it's just awing. I feel like I have my own Cirque du Soleil, my own athlete to myself, and I get to see that, and it's really awesome to even be around somebody like that. So I think it's amazing.